Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Troy. Hey, listen, Senator Krysten Sinema of Arizona finally making it official, switching her party affiliation from Democrat to Independent, joining the ranks of Tulsi Gabbard as two people that the Democrats will shed no tears over the fact that they left the party. Krysten Sinema famously siding with Republicans to keep the filibuster, even though the filibuster is just an arcane procedural rule that's not in the Constitution. Some have even claimed it's unconstitutional because it renders the vote needed to get anything through the Senate at 60 votes rather than 51, which is what the Constitution says. But Krysten Sinema famously refusing to vote to get rid of the filibuster on some incredibly important items, siding with the filibuster over voting rights, also over raising the minimum wage, over environmental protections. Krysten Sinema really doing her part to absolutely tank the Joe Biden agenda in the first 2 years of his presidency. Truly, it would have only taken Manchin or Sinema. We only needed one of those votes to get through Biden's Build Back Better agenda. They had worked out a deal where that could have passed without the filibuster. Both Manchin and Sinema refusing to sign on to that plan, which would have been a transformative plan for America, including free daycare for children 3 and up, free community college, lots of environmental protections, a child tax credit that lifted a third of children out of poverty. A third of children that were living in poverty were lifted out of poverty because of that child tax credit. Then they let it expire. So those children were sent back into conditions of poverty because of Krysten Sinema refusing to budge on her conservative stance. Just a real sellout to the Democratic Party, and more importantly, a sellout to the American people, and she will not be missed as a Democrat, now officially switching her party affiliation to Independent. The Republicans and the garbage right painting this as some sort of disaster for the Democrats. Indeed, her choosing to wait till only a couple days after the Democrats had secured a 51-seat majority in the Senate to make this announcement has a little bit of an extra sting to it, really taking the wind out of the Democratic sails, that the 51-seat majority is technically back to a 50-50. We still have control of the Senate with Kamala Harris as the vice president having the ability to break any ties. However, there's no indication, Krysten Sinema has given no indication that she will suddenly begin heavily voting with the Republicans. There's no indication that she will begin to caucus as a Republican. There are already 2 independents in the Senate, Angus King and Bernie Sanders, who caucus as Democrats. That's how we have that 50. So technically, it is very, very likely that Krysten Sinema will still caucus as a Democrat, which will keep that majority at 51. And indeed, Krysten Sinema voted with Democrats 90% of the time. She's not suddenly like Tulsi Gabbard on some ideological drive to now vote exclusively Republican to secure her deal on Fox News. Krysten Sinema is a corporate Democrat, to be sure. She will follow what her corporate interests tell her to do. But she thus far has given no indication that she's suddenly going to become a Republican and rob the Democrats of that 51-seat actual majority rather than the 50-50 tie. And that's important because the 51-seat majority is an actual majority. It's an actual parliamentary majority. It means that the Democrats get majorities on all the committees. They get subpoena power, rather than with the 50-50 where they had to work out a power-sharing agreement with the Republicans with 51. Democrats have actual parliamentary majority control over the Senate. So once again, no indication that Sinema is planning to caucus with Republicans. She will join independents King and Sanders as the third independent in the Senate to caucus with Democrats, keeping the 51-seat majority. However, this is definitely should be seen as a political move on her part. She knows that she stands no chance of winning as a Democrat when her seat comes up when her term is up in 2024. There's already a strong movement to primary her with another Democrat in 2024 among Arizona Democrats. Arizona Democrats are finished with Krysten Sinema. They've had it with her. They've publicly rebuked her. They've censured her. The Arizona Democratic Party famously censuring Krysten Sinema. Representative Ruben Gallego of Arizona has been making a lot of waves, sort of leading this primary fight this call to primary Krysten Sinema. He recently went on MSNBC and lambasted her for not coming out and campaigning harder for Arizona Democrats, that she was kind of a no-show in these midterms. To be honest with you, I'm fairly certain that the Democrats didn't want Krysten Sinema campaigning with them. I can't imagine any Arizona Democrat that would have been excited to have Krysten Sinema campaign for them. That probably would have done more harm than good. By going independent, she now avoids the necessity of facing a primary challenge for that Democratic nomination. She can run for Senate as an independent. The question now will be, who will that hurt more? Will she draw Democrats, moderate Democrats away in Arizona to back her independent campaign, hurting the Democrat, which will likely be Representative Gallego? Or will she find favor with Arizona Republicans and split votes off from the Republican candidate for Senate in 2024? So it's looking like it'll be a 3-person race for Senate in 2024 with a Democrat, a Republican, and Krysten Sinema running as an independent. So the question will just be, who does she siphon more votes from? Which party does she split? And is it wise for her to run as an independent in Arizona, a swing state, which has been trending more blue, but in actuality, it's been former Republicans leaving the Republican Party to become independents, Republicans not in Arizona, not jiving with the MAGA brand of Republicanism and choosing to leave the party and becoming independent. So independents in Arizona do skew more right, do skew more conservative. So it'll be interesting to see if those independents will back an independent Sinema campaign or if they will go towards the Republican, again, all depending on what Republican is run, if it's of the MAGA brand or of the more establishment moderate brand of Republican, which Arizona independents have shown in this midterm that they are not willing to back the MAGA brand as much as the John McCain sort of more establishment band of Republicans. So be interesting to see what happens in 2024. Some interesting developments. As much as MAGA Republicans try to paint this as a huge, devastating loss for Democrats, we always knew that Krysten Sinema was an independent. It's where she belongs. She's not a Democrat. She does not belong in the Democratic Party. However, with her voting record, it's highly unlikely that she will suddenly give Republicans that extra vote to bring it back down to a 50-50 Senate. For MeidasTouch, this is Troy. Remember, smash that subscribe button to keep supporting independent media.
MeidasTouch is unapologetically pro-democracy. And look, we know you are too. So please make sure you check out our best-selling shirt and our best-selling gear, the unapologetically pro-democracy gear. And hey, while you're at it, make sure you check out my favorite shirt and one of our most famous designs, It Wasn't Rigged, You're Just a Loser, at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.